Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. Apologies for the delay between last episode and this one. I posted it on the community section, but if you haven't seen it, basically yesterday my computer decided it would be now a great time to effectively break on me. So yeah, I had one of my friends come around and look at it, and we think we know what the problem is. I've gone ahead and ordered what I think I need to fix it, but it's going to be a couple of days between that arriving and me actually getting it fixed. So in the meantime, I'm going to be using my laptop, which of course is not quite as good as my computer, to try and give you guys content, which does in fact also mean that my player and also the Road to Glory career mode will have to wait until I get my PC fixed in order to record those. So apologies for the delay in that one as well, but I'm working with what I've got at the moment, so at least we've still got some career mode goodness coming out for you right here. And I've just realised as well the thumbnail might look a little bit different because I'm going to have to redo it, so yeah, we'll see how that one goes. But nevertheless, let's get started with today's episode. We've got 4 games coming your way, all post-commentary, because unfortunately, again, my laptop isn't quite good enough to record in live. I did try it, but I was dropping frames left, right, and centre. Nevertheless, our first game comes against Bury in the Carabao Cup Round 3. Decided to play this one to give some of my youth academy players a game, and as you know, with dynamic potential this year, they need to be playing games, and that's exactly what they did. I believe I named 3 Youth Academy players in my starting 11 for this one. One of them going by the name of Mark Dillon, and he scored on his full debut for the club. A fantastic finish it was as well. We started things off with Solanke opening up the scoring, a great turn on the edge of the area, then firing it in the back of the net. But this one here was certainly the goal of the game from Dillon. You can see a nice passing move. It was laid towards him, and on his left foot, he smashed it into the top corner. And this guy, by the way, is only 57 rated at this point in time. So what a finish it was from a 57 rated player. Although, with morale and the way it is this year, some of his attributes were actually boosted. So maybe that played a little part, you know. But nevertheless, a great finish. And actually, I do have to give credit to Bury. They didn't just sit back. They did cause a few issues. There you can see a Ramsdale making a save. A very rare one at that, I do have to say, though. And we continued the pressure into the second half, where eventually we would fire ourselves 3-0 in front. Danjuma here with some great move, getting himself passed towards that byline, cuts it back, and there was Dillon for number 2 on his debut. So what a way to introduce yourself to his home fans as well. So maybe one to watch in the future, although at 57 rated, we'll have to wait and see. It's going to take a heck of a lot of time for him to grow to a really good overall. Having said that, though, he also got an assist as he pulled it back here for Solanke to make it 4-0 and grab his second of the game. And after this, I believe I took them both off. So gave them both their standing ovations they deserved. Made a couple of changes. Ultimately, though, it was a game we should have won, and that is exactly what happened. A 4-0 victory. Went and shook the Bury manager's hand afterwards and just said, well done. They had a lot to be proud of. Although, yeah, it was a bit of a thumping. Like I said, they did cause a few issues, made a couple of chances, and maybe should have got themselves a consolation goal, but Ramsdale made a couple of good saves too. So ultimately, like I said, a game we should have won, and that now means we are through to the Carabao Cup Round 4, which, as you guys know, my main aim for this first season is to try and get a safe league position and maybe some cup success as well. So it's a nice little foundation to build upon, I guess, moving forward. We came out of game, did our post-match interview, not pre-match interview, that would have happened before the game. Post-match interview, where we just spoke about Solanke's performance for one. You can kind of see what I was going with. I was just trying to get all of the morale up because it seems like it's such an important factor in this year's career mode. Do make sure you are doing the post-match interviews, you're talking to your players through the chats, because it seems like morale is a massive factor. So I'm glad that if that is the case, they've not just thrown it in and kind of thought, okay, we'll just throw it in there for a bit of a fresh sort of approach to it and then not give it too much of importance, because that would have then just made it useless in effect. So if it is the case that it does matter quite a bit, which it seems to be doing at the moment, then I'm glad about that, because it's something that you have to keep your eyes upon as well. Bit of player management, if you will. And following our interview, I went to check out the news section. You can see there Dillon, as it's an action image of him scoring one of those goals against Bury. But we then took on West Ham in the Premier League, and I've been able to swap around the lineups of our opponents now to make them even stronger. I genuinely cannot believe that this is still actually a thing. I was fuming later on in the video. I will show you it, because when you see Arsenal's lineup that they put out against us later on, you are going to be tearing your hair out. So thankfully, I remembered that I needed to switch it around. To be fair, with West Ham, I didn't have a whole lot to do. I think there was maybe 3 or 4 players. With Arsenal's, just wait, because Honestly, it's so dumb. It's just stupid how it's still in the game. So hopefully there's a patch that fixes this, because genuinely it is just dumb how it's still here in career mode. The fact of the matter is, you've got top teams not playing their best players, not only against like us, who are playing in our career modes, but even the other teams as well, which is causing them to be in positions in the table that they just really shouldn't be in. So hopefully EA find a fix pretty quick and sort that out. But this game here against West Ham was probably one of the most fun games I've played so far. It was so back and forth, both teams really going for it. In the early stages, West Ham actually kept us sort of penned into our own half, and they were probably the better team. But against the run of play, we broke away. It was that duo again of Callum Wilson and Joshua King who combine. Wilson to King, he finishes it off, and we took the lead in the game. But we weren't ahead for too long, because then a fantastic header from, I believe, Sebastian Haller, is it? I don't know how he's managed to score this, I'm going to be honest with you. Ball went over the top. It was then sent in one of the most stupid crosses I've seen, and all of a sudden I expected to see Ake head it away. Haller beat him in the air, and I've got no idea how it went in the back of the net, if I'm being completely honest with you. But if I'm also being honest, it was probably a fair sort of result going into half-time 1-1, because West Ham didn't really deserve to be behind, because I thought they did pretty well against us in the early stages of the match. However, into the second half we went, and a massive opportunity to take the lead went by. King again, the man in the box, the cross fizzed in, and he just could not meet it to send it into the back of the net. It seemed like a free header. Unfortunately, though, it went past him. And then we did take the lead with 17 minutes to play. An unlikely hero stepped up. Calvin Phillips from midfield ran through, got the pass, and smashed it in the back of the net. I believe it was Callum Wilson with another assist to his name as well. He might be in the team to score goals, but he's certainly providing them as well. So we're in front, and you're thinking, please hold on to this as well, until Lanzini runs through. Stacey brings him down, and unfortunately, it was a penalty kick to West Ham. So Stacey yellow-carded as well for the challenge, and I was thinking, has all of our hard work been undone here? And there actually isn't a big period of time between a penalty being given and taken. Unfortunately for us, Antonio stepped up, hit the post, the rebound was sent back in, and Jack Butland made a big save to deny West Ham an equalising goal. We had one last opportunity right at the end of the game. We sent the ball in from the corner. Ake got up to meet it, but I didn't care that he put his header wide of the post, because we'd held on to a 2-1 win, even after the penalty kick had been taken and missed. So ultimately, we got 3 points in a game that could have gone either way, and I really enjoyed playing that match. And hopefully as well, we're going to have more of those type of games as this series progresses, where it's really close and only one goal separates the two teams, because that was genuinely fun to play. So yeah, quite lucky in the aspect of us getting the win because of the missed penalty, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You get lucky, other times you don't. So we got lucky on that particular time. Again, with the interview, and this time it was a bit more of a serious one, because, like I said, with the game being so close, I can't really fault West Ham, and I didn't think we played phenomenally. But I just made sure that every option I chose, I was just getting our morale up. You know, one thing you definitely don't want to do is, even if you've played bad, I don't know if this actually works or not, but if you've played bad and then, you know, kind of tell your team you've played bad, I don't know what sort of effect that has on morale. Maybe it will get them fired up, but then equally, will it then just drop their morale even more? So I'm not sure. So I always make sure I pick, like, the positives whenever I'm giving them, if that makes sense, just to make sure I am giving the good morale out. So we have all happy smiley faces in our team, so they all get boosted attributes, and that's the main aim. Again, talking to Josh King, as I basically praised him for his performance, and you can see again another action shot. Phillips scores his first goal this season, and it just so happens to be the goal that wins us the game. So phenomenal stuff from him, and a cheeky little Easter egg, I guess you could say, as I checked out the World News, and it says the wait is over. FIFA 20 is available today in the news bit. So I don't know if they've meant to do that. Well, of course they've meant to do it, but I don't know if it's like an Easter egg or something like that. But it's pretty cool to see anyways. And then an interview with Josh King talking about his tremendous performances as of late, because him and Wilson at the moment are largely the reason why we are where we are. I think between them right now, they've both had goal contributions of like 12 or 13 between them, which for two strikers, 7 or 8 games into the league season, is pretty ridiculous. That's not including Lewis Cook or Phillips' goal there and anybody else that's grabbed one. But just those two guys right now, they are definitely the reason why we are where we are at the moment. And we get to the Arsenal game, and as you can see, how many changes I had to make to this lineup, it was just dumb. They had so many players that just shouldn't be playing, and it wasn't down to injury, wasn't down to fitness. Everybody was fine to play. It's just for some reason, they just weren't in the team sheet. So, thankfully, I was able to swap it around to hopefully give us a bit more of a competitive game for this one. I don't know if you noticed as well, Callum Wilson picked up Player of the Month for September. So now we've had Josh King with the August one and Callum Wilson with the September one. So maybe instead of collecting Man of the Matches, they can just collect Player of the Month awards. That'd be pretty cool as well, wouldn't it? Nevertheless, we got the action underway here, and actually, we had the better of the first half. Callum Wilson on the turn here, gets past David Luiz far too easily, has his shot saved by Leno. Joshua King puts the rebound in the back of the net, but unfortunately for us, and rightfully so, the offside flag went up. So it would not count. King would have to wait another opportunity to get another goal in this one. And again, though, the signs were there for Arsenal. It's our two strikers that were causing the problems. I couldn't believe my eyes when this happened. A corner which was taken short. Lewis Cook put the cross in, and it missed everybody. All we needed was a touch. Just somebody to put the touch, to put it into the back of the net, and we would have taken the lead. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Second half sort of went Arsenal's way. Some great defending there from Steve Cook as we put ourselves in a bit of a bad situation. Jack Butland having to make a couple of saves here. To be fair, though, it was him who put us in this problem, so rightfully got us back out of it, and there was actually one last chance for us to win the game. 7 minutes from time. Dan Juma down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Calvin Phillips, who smashed his effort at Leno. The follow-up from Ryan Fraser was not good enough, and he would make the save again. So, all honours even from the Emirates here. 0-0 the scoreline. It was such a scrappy, messy game, though. So, to be fair, I was thinking back at this, and I was looking back at that corner routine, and I was thinking, if somebody got a touch, that would have been enough to win us the game. So, yeah, a little bit frustrating. And I actually said, I believe, in my post-match interview about it being like a game of chess. Sometimes you have games that are going to be dull and boring. It's inevitable. You can't always play, attractive football and always get results. And that pretty much summed up how that game was, dull and boring. So, yeah, there was chances for both teams to win it. Neither side really good enough to take the 3 points, though. So the draw was probably fair. Again, though, morale was doing pretty well, so I was happy with the way that my interviews were going. Even with the result not going our way, the morale definitely was, which is fantastic to see. Socrates definitely was one of the better players there, and that is another question that came up in my interview. And actually coming out of that, I did a little bit more training, as I am doing, and as you guys know, I've been using David Brooks, Lewis Cook, and Jack Stacey for my training. But now that David Brooks has hit 80 rated, which I showed you there, I'm going to be swapping in Dylan, the Youth Academy player. He's going to now be in the training system alongside Lewis Cook and Jack Stacey. So David Brooks going to come out. He's now 80 rated. I don't feel like I need to train him anymore at this point. He's where I want him to be. So, yeah, we're going to give Dylan the opportunity to train up a little bit. And our final game for you then comes against Norwich away. Oh, sorry, at home. I was going to say away, but no, it's at home at the Vitality Stadium. And to be fair, I know Norwich is surprising a few people in real life. Timu Pukki, I should say, sorry. Not Timu Pukki, is actually one of the better strikers at the moment in the Premier League in terms of his goals-to-game ratio. But I fully expected, the way we are currently playing, that this was only really going to go one way. And that seemed to be the case right from the off. It was Joshua King again and Callum Wilson involved. The through ball towards him. He finished it off 1-0 inside 3 minutes. 1-0 should have become 2 when Ryan Fraser was fouled by Phillips, but he had his effort saved by Farman. A good save at that as well. Then again, though, I expect a little bit better from Ryan Fraser. Unfortunately, just couldn't find that corner of the goal. However, we were 2-0 in front when it was picked up by Phillips. Phillips through to Joshua King. And yet again, he's on the one-on-one, and he smashed it in the bottom corner. So we were 2-0 up, and King had them both in the game. And we weren't even at half-time yet. Now we're looking at a hat-trick. Great shots here, by the way. Can't even see what's going on because the net's in the way. But we will take another look at this goal. Nice through ball from Phillips. And again, a really good finish from Josh King into that bottom corner. And then in the second half, we continued our dominance. King, again, on the ball, finds the ball through to Ryan Fraser. Lovely little shimmy, gets him in behind, and this time, no mistake with the finish. But it's all about that little movement that he does to kind of fake the defender, to allow him to get the position in order to fire the shot in. And yet again, another contribution from one of our strikers, because it's an assist from Josh King. So, I don't know what it is. Right now, these two guys, if you're looking at anybody better in the Premier League, who? Who is better? Because these two are going to have a lot of teams looking at them come the end of the season in the transfer window, and I will not be letting them go. So we'll see how that goes. Mark Dillon came on for his first ever Premier League game with about 23 minutes to play, and he was involved in this move, actually, which deserved a goal. You'll see it. I mean, I don't quite know how we haven't scored. It was king, and it was so close to finding the bottom corner. You can see my reaction. I thought genuinely, I was like, this deserved a goal. It deserved a goal, but we didn't get it. So we were still 3-0 up, 8 minutes to play. Dillon here in possession, fired the ball to King. King threw for Wilson. He deserved one, and that's exactly what he got. Callum Wilson, 6 minutes from time. Bournemouth 4, Norwich 0. Josh King with 2, Wilson with 1, Ryan Fraser with 1 as well. The players you want scoring, all grabbing the goals. A clean sheet it was looking like as well. So all in all, a very good day at the office, and let's show our appreciation for the man of the match. Have a listen to this.
For today's man of the match, number 7, Joshua King.
The Bournemouth fans clearly loving his performances at the moment, and so too they should. And that was the end of the game. 4-0 victors, another big 3 points for us as well. I'm going to be honest, like I said, I want this sort of top half finish, safe position and cup success. But the way things have started, I'm kind of, I don't know how to feel, because we are doing really well, but then the big teams aren't really. Like, for example, let me show you this. When we show you the league table in a minute, you'll see, I believe in the top 4 or the top 6, Brighton and Villa are in there. So, yeah, maybe we are having a great sort of start to the season, but the fact that they're in there as well is kind of making me feel it's not as impressive as I first thought. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, because of course we've already played Villa, we drew with them, and I've not yet played Brighton, I don't think. So maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. Maybe I'm not giving us enough credit. But yeah, again, Josh King involved in the interview, again talking about his performances, and are we confident we can keep the streak rolling? So I said, sooner or later, we will concede, and we will not turn this streak into an obsession, because, let's face it, we'd already lost a game to Man City. There will be another time we lose a game. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself and try and keep the streak going. I'm just taking it game by game at the moment and seeing what happens. And hopefully at the end of the season, maybe we will be in for quite the surprise. But yeah, that brings us to a close for today's episode, though, guys. A massive thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, a massive thank you for your support as well. I do appreciate that the situation I'm in right now with no music or anything like that, it's a little bit different to the usual episodes, but hopefully you still enjoyed it anyway. And until my computer is fixed, this is how we are going to be doing things. But as you can see, top of the Premier League table, I did mention it, Brighton into 6th place. There's some other interesting teams up there as well. But until next time, have a great day, have a great evening wherever it is that you guys are. If you are new around here, like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll be back, hopefully, if not tomorrow, the day after, with another episode. Until then, adios.